You know why you clicked on this video. We finally have our first intellectual property house announced for Halloween Horror Nights on both coasts. That is, A Quiet Place. Now before diving into it, I feel like I need to say this is Halloween Horror Nights Orlando's 7th house announcement, along with Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood's first announcement. But before getting into the nitty gritty of all of this, let's take a peek at the announcement trailer that was released for this.
Warning, unusual audio-visual activity in your area.
If they hear you, they hunt you. A Quiet Place. Only at Universal Halloween Horror Nights, where horror lives.
Directed by John Krasinski and critically acclaimed for its suspenseful yet silent storytelling, A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2 follow the Abbott family as they try to survive the aftermath of sightless creatures with sharp sense of hearing that draws them to prey on anything that makes the slightest noise. Mirroring the silence in the films, the haunted houses will embrace unique sound design, special effects, and the adept performances of the scare actors to convey the ominous sense of dread depicted in the films. Consequential to the storyline, Halloween Horror Nights will incorporate the use of ASL, or American Sign Language, for the first time ever within A Quiet Place, the haunted house, to capture the authenticity of the films. Fans will relive the tension that will come to life in the iconic scenes from the first two films, including traveling through the farmhouse that serves as the Abbott family shelter and stepping into the root cellar where Evelyn Abbott escapes to give birth as one of the creatures closes in. The snarls of the larger-than-life predators will follow guests at every spine-chilling turn, and guests must remember, if they hear you, they will hunt you. Along with the announcement, we also got a peek at some new merchandise themed to A Quiet Place, which I'll put on the screen for you to see. We have a t-shirt that has the key art that was used for the announcement on the front, with the Halloween Horror Nights 2024 logo on the sleeve, and on the back it says, rule number 1, don't make a sound, and the shirt's going to be about $33. Along with the shirt, we also got a mug that is heat reactive that looks very plain when it's not warm. Obviously, it just has A Quiet Place's logo and rule number 1 with the Halloween Horror Nights logo. However, when it's warm, it reveals the key art as well with a claw mark through it. That mug's going to be about $20, and the merchandise, to me, it's not my favorite piece of merchandise Halloween Horror Nights is putting out, but remember, this is just preview merchandise, and there could be some more merchandise down the road when it comes to the event itself. Nonetheless, back to the announcement, I'm very excited to see how they execute this house, with the premise mostly focusing on a film that's silent. I'm very curious to see how it's going to go. Is it going to actually incorporate a lot of American Sign Language? Is this going to be essentially just like The Last of Us but quieter? I'm not sure. I'm also not sure how this is going to work in terms of when it comes to the crowds, because of course everyone that's in line for the house will be loud, will be screaming, but the premise of the house is to be quiet. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but one thing I am very curious to see is how they will approach the scares. Will they lean heavily on misdirection scares where the sound will come from one side and then the scare will come from the other, like the monsters? I'm really also curious to see what scenes they do put in here. Of course, we know we're going to see the house and we're going to see the cellar, but are we going to see things like the bridge scene with the rocket ship? Are we going to see the whole corn tower thing? I'm very curious to see how this is going to work out. There's so many different sets they can use for these two films, so it's going to be very nice to see what they actually use from the film, and it's going to be very intriguing, like I said, with that American Sign Language thrown in this house. It did add another layer to me of something that makes me a little more excited than I was originally for this. Overall, this is a house that that I think a lot of people have wanted to see at Halloween Horror Nights for a very long time, and I think it's going to be a great addition to this year's lineup. We already have 6 solid originals, and this one IP so far is going to be top notch, and the fact that they're testing something different with using that American Sign Language and doing a house that isn't typically something you'd see at Horror Nights when it comes to things usually being like quiet. I think the last time we had a house that was quiet was possibly Body Collectors back in 2015, and that to me was one of my favorite Horror Nights houses of all time. So I think this might just be a sleeper for one of the best houses that we have this year. So with that statement out of the way, I want to know what you guys think of this announcement. How do you feel about A Quiet Place? Do you think this is going to be similar to The Last of Us? Do you think it's going to be something phenomenal? Do you think this is going to be groundbreaking, or do you think it's just going to be just another house at the event? Let me know down below. You guys know my opinions. I'm so excited for this house. And I can't wait to see how they execute it. If you guys like this video, do me a huge favor and give it a thumbs up. Comment down below your opinions on this year's event so far. Subscribe if you guys already haven't done so. And stay excellent, my dudes.